Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we're having, I think, another Bowmore tasting, because we already did the normal ones. This time it's the Sherry Edition with Jens Rosenberg. You are keeper of the Quaich, you are the brand ambassador, kind of like the umbrella brand ambassador, and I know you for like a long time in the whiskey industry. So it is 20 years in the whiskey industry, or how long was it?
Yes, I'm with the company now for almost, I think, 22 and a half years, something like this. I started as a sales rep and then I switched to become a BA, worked for different brands in Germany, and now for, I think, almost 10 years, I'm more in the role of a key account manager, and I'm representing the malts to the customers and also on fairs and less tastings as before.
Yeah, so thank you very much for coming. It's just a pleasure to have you here. And for all of you out there, if you live in the Netherlands or Belgium, you can actually buy this little miniature set here on Whisky.com, where you have the little miniatures here. And now that we are in the United States as well, we do have two of them listed, the 12 and the 15. We do have listed in the US shop as well. So if you like to follow at least 2/3 of the tasting, have a look at Whisky.com. You will find them also there. So can you tell us a little about what we're going to try today? What is inside the bottles?
So inside the bottles we have a new release, at least that we started last year in Germany, for example. And compared to the regular range that we have here, we released the sherry range, sherry cask range. Different ages like 12, 15, 18, and the top one is 21-year-old, for example. And it's a bit different compared to the normal range, which we'll see afterwards when we nose and taste it.
Okay, so usually I do a lot of production. Now they told me that I should do a bit less production, so we only have one part production, and then we're gonna talk more about whiskeys and about the enjoyment and all that other stuff. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I'm really into the production. So yeah. Anyway, where is actually Bowmore? And Bowmore, here we can see the British Isles. On the right side we have Great Britain, on the left side we have Ireland, and then in the middle there's a small island called the Isle of Islay. And in that middle of the island there is the town of Bowmore. So how often have you been to
I've
Islay?
been to Islay several times, at least also to Scotland, and I somehow I didn't count anymore. So it's always a pleasure to be there, and it's always fun, but I didn't count it.
I think with Islay, I'm still with one hand. Maybe it's 6 times, 5 times, more like 5 times. I think I'm with 5 times Islay, or 4 times. 4 to 6 times, and Scotland I can't count. Yeah. So, but here you see the town of Bowmore, and at the very front you see Bowmore written on a big warehouse, and this is kind of the Bowmore campus, I would say. You go through a gate, and then it's all Bowmore.
Yeah, it looks like, to be honest, because the capital of the island is also well known as Bowmore.
Yeah.
You have the majority of people living there. It's about, I think, 850, 860 people, and also the distillery is right there on the coast.
And here on the very left side, on the top left side, you see the Church of Bowmore. And
Yes.
I think you also had, wasn't it the Bowmore Devil's Cask or something?
Yes.
And the legend of the devil was, what was it, hiding in a cask in warehouse number 1, and then you somehow got the devil out or something, and he ran into the church. But the church, he tried to hide in a corner in the church, but
It's not possible because
it's
it's a
not
round church.
yeah, it's perfectly circular. The church in Bowmore is a circle. I don't know why. The legend says because then the devil can't hide in the corners. And on the very far left side of the building, is that already the building, right? Yeah, I think on the very no, we're on the other. But before you enter the campus of Bowmore, on the right-hand side, there is the local swimming pool. And there's very often children swimming in there. But the local swimming pool is only running when the distillery is running.
That's right, yes. Because they use the heat from the production to heat up the pool for the kids.
Yeah, there's always excess heat with distilling. I mean, there is heat recovery systems coming up nowadays. I'm not quite sure if Bowmore is investing that much into the heat recovery system, because all of the heat that's going out is going into the swimming pool to be heated by the distillery. So that's why, the pool only has opened during production hours. Distillery shuts down, pool shuts down.
But you always also have the chance to use the big pool in front of the city, which is a little bit colder, to be honest.
Yeah, the what was it? Loch is it Indal?
Loch Indal.
Loch Indal,
The bay.
The bay, the Loch Bay is Loch Indal. And Bowmore is actually, the name Bowmore is the Great Reef.
Right, it's from the Gaelic, and the meaning is Great Reef.
Yeah, and I think back in the days, they couldn't because of that reef, they couldn't dock at the pier, so they had to have small boats coming in. And there's a great picture at the Bowmore Distillery where you see just a rowboat with, I think, one guy in it and a horse. It's like, well, how do you do this? But the horse looks very calm and very menacing, or not menacing, very dominant on that thing. It's really the boat, it belongs to the horse. Yeah. And what I find very interesting is usually you only have distilleries 18, 24, 3, 5, somewhere around there, and you have 1779.
Yes, that's probably, or that's what the story tells us, the oldest distillery on the Isle of Islay.
Mm-hmm.
One of the oldest distilleries in Scotland, and we just talked about, or we saw the big letters on the warehouse. That's the warehouse number 1, or Walls number 1, and that's also the oldest warehouse in Scotland. Probably known before they invented the distillery on the island.
Yeah, I would like to know how the whole thing was going back in the days, because it was actually legal to have distilleries before, what was it, 1823 or something, but it was just incredibly high taxes, so nobody did it. I'm not quite sure, because the island did have different statuses during the periods of the empires and stuff, so maybe the taxes on the islands were lower, and that's why they had so many distilleries on Islay. I'm not quite sure. So, but yeah, that's more about History Channel. So now the distillery actually belongs to Beam Suntory.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're quite invested into Bowmore. You always see new stuff with Bowmore coming up, and there's a lot of things going on. I mean, you have the range of Bowmore. The standard range is incredible. Is that like 10 bottlings or something like that?
Yeah. So if I talk for the German market, we start with we have 12, 15, 18, 25, 30, 40, and then some special releases like
and then the 4 sherries.
Yeah, the sherry range as well.
Yeah.
Right. We don't forget them.
Yeah.
And some older bottlings as well. So it's huge, and it's a big range.
Yeah, that's really, really nice. I really like that about Bowmore. Bowmore always used to have a big range, but we'll come to that a bit later. The water at the distillery comes from the creek of Lagan, or the river Lagan, depending how big you want to see it. And what is also very, very interesting is the malting floors. Because Bowmore does a lot of their malting still on their own malting floors, around 25%. So a quarter of all the malt is not done by a huge industrial malting, but their own malting floors, which is incredible. And here you see how you actually do that. I'm not quite sure if that is so representative, because they have electric things usually going through there. But that is actually a method that is actually not that bad, because it's really not bad for your back. If you have the shovel, or what was it, there were a few methods and they were really horrible back in the days. So you do 27 hours of steeping, 4 to 5 days of turning the malt there, and then when it's done, then actually that's the that's the step where you get the smokiness, where you put it into your kiln and you dry it over peat smoke. And it's interesting that Bowmore has less peat smoke in it than the, let's say, south coast of Islay.
Right.
And that's on purpose, or
I think
it's
it's
always
it's part of the history.
Yeah.
So they invented it and they did it like before. And we're talking about peat, that it's about actually 25 ppm per million. And compared to the other distilleries on Islay, it's less.
Yeah. What is also very nice about Bowmore is, I think that was Horst when he visited the distillery, I think in 2012 or something, or 2010 or somewhere around there. They already had a program where they changed from the old peat bricks to ground down peat and moisturized it very carefully. So they had maximized their smoke production so they could use less peat. So very sustainable. And
Yes.
they did it before it was cool. Like they already doing it for more than probably 20 or more than 15 years, let's say it that way. Not quite sure how long they do it, but they do it for a long time back in the days when sustainability was not a buzzword on the mainstream media.
No, and when I see the picture now with the peat, so when they try the barley, which takes, or they peat the barley, which takes around 10 hours, they use around 1 ton of peat to do this.
Which is not that much. Yeah. Next up is the mash tun. You have a stainless steel semi-lauter mash tun, but you have it plated in copper very nicely. So it looks kind of old school, but is very efficient new school. And yeah, the mash tun is not really about flavor, it's more about efficiency. Yeah. Next up goes to the fermentation. That is actually pretty interesting because that definitely has a big influence on the flavor. They have 7 washbacks with 40,000 liters of volume, which is quite a lot. But although they do have 70 hours of fermentation, which is quite long, that gives you less output, but the flavors are much more fruity and much more refined with 70 hours of fermentation. Then we're off to the distillation, and I visited the distillery very late. I visited the distillery in 22. I've been to Islay quite a lot, but in 2015, when my first official visit when I was working for the industry was there, I didn't get into the distillery, so I visited the distillery inside the still room first 22, and I was amazed because I've only seen pictures. And I don't know how Horst did it, but they always looked so small, the stills. And if you see the guy over there, you can imagine how big the stills are.
Yeah.
And they are
huge.
massive. And the stills on the right are the wash stills. They have 30,940 liters in volume. That is really massive. And they're wide and they have a small neck. They really almost look like a pier. The spirit still is a bit smaller, 14,250 liters, but for a spirit still, that's still very big. So they are distilling on very big stills. Yeah. Then we have the warehouses. You have the warehouse number 1, but not all the Bowmore is in warehouse number 1. But the distillery, they lost one warehouse to the local pool, but they also do have more warehouses on the island inland. When you come from the airport and you drive towards Bowmore, on the left side you see a couple of warehouses, and I think you do a lot of cask switching from the sister distilleries.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
And there are some warehouses as well close to Glasgow, to Springburn.
Yeah, that is definitely that way. But all the good stuff is in vault number 1. So this is inside vault number 1.
Absolutely.
And from what I've heard is that when you have a tide or a spring tide, that the water is actually above the level where the casks are storing, and the walls should be salty, but my production team prevented me from licking the walls because they were moldy and black, and I don't know.
I'm not sure if it would be very healthy, but
Why should I die? I've never died yet. Good. Enough talking. So this is the whole production. I'm not going to bore you with more production. So yeah, what are we going to try first?
I think we will start with a 12-year-old from the new release.
Oh, we do have one question. Where does Bowmore source its sherry casks? Very relevant question for the sherry cask range.
So the sherry casks are from Miguel Martin in Spain and a third distributor. So
okay. So you do have connections with a sherry bodega.
yes, but
Okay.
The only one which is known or which is told us is the Miguel Martin one. And there are other sources in Spain as well, because Spain is popular for sherry. You have to have different bodegas where you can probably buy casks from.
Yeah, they are really in demand. Love Bowmore wondering if there are plans to release a high-strength core range. The Vault edition were so good, but sadly gone.
Yeah, I remember the Vault edition. Sea salt and what we had there, and they were quite nice and very tasty. But actually, I'm not sure if there's coming up another cask strange or higher volume edition. But you never know. Probably we'll get one.
Oh yeah, they are. Currently, I can't think of them. I mean, you have the older ones, which are cask strength, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you have like 30 or 40 plus, then cask strength becomes also drinking strength.
Absolutely.
So this one is now, what kind of cask do you have with that? Is that just Oloroso casks?
No, it's also a mixture between former bourbon and former sherry casks, which Bowmore always use for the core range. But this is also a finish afterwards in Oloroso sherry casks.
Okay.
So they bring it back together then, and they get a finish.
Okay, so first you have, and then you have bourbon and Oloroso, and then you finish it in Oloroso. So every cask has seen at least Oloroso once,
Right.
and so it's
Yes.
yeah. And you feel it. It's nice. You do have a bit of a smoke in there, but you do have a lot of sherry in there as well. A bit of sweetness, a bit of caramel, and yeah, medium smoke. Bit of a. It's going into many directions. It's really a complex one.
It is. Yeah, so for me, you also have some dried fruits, a bit of chocolate.
I like it.
A bit of shark or grilled pineapple.
It's nice that it has a bit of a sweet touch to it. So these bourbon casks also do have a bit of an influence in there. And it's strange for me. I'm just seeing it right here. It's just 40 ppm, 40%. It felt really like a 46 one from the intensity.
I think also when you smell it, you expect more higher alcohol content then.
We did have all of these three in German tasting as well, and we kind of got used to the smoke, but I do have the smoke quite a lot. It is smoky still, even though I'm trying it for the second time.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, but it's not comparable to, let's say, a South Coast Isla. It's not. It's definitely a much more pleasant, easy kind of smoke. It's less phenolic smoke. Whereas I've learned that the phenolic kind of smoke does not come from the smoke, but from a special kind of distillation. So,
Yeah.
Slange?
Slange war.
Very round. Also, yeah, smoky. and cherries and a little bit of dark chocolate. I can't remember from the first one that it was so complex. I think now with the second time trying it, you have a lot more nuance, more layers. It goes into chocolate, goes into dried fruits, goes into Christmas, goes a little bit into what you call spiciness, goes into oak, smokiness. There's everything in there.
I agree. Also a bit mouth-watering. Some mentioned something like a bit of Christmas cake.
Stranger is now so complex. The first time it was smoky, it was easy, it had some roundness, some sweetness, but now it has this complexity in the glass. So it's really nice to have your tasting when you have like a really nice tasting evening. Have a journey that can go into different directions, and if you're through the tasting, don't finish all your glasses with every step of tasting. You can come back to them and find something very, very new. As we do them sequence again and sequence again, it's a total different experience.
Absolutely. Leave it for a while, and it will react with the air, and you will pick up different tasting notes and different flavors afterwards, for sure.
But it's nice. I'm really puzzled because it's a 40% one, and everybody nowadays is like, oh, you have to have at least 46%. Some do have 43, and this works with 40 quite nicely.
Yeah,
It's really nice and complex, and it's not as demanding. Some of them are just so full with volume. I mean, it has volume, but it's really not overwhelming.
no. I think for the 40% ABV, it has a lot of power.
I like it. Bowmore has a little bit of a special place for me because my first like really good one was a Bowmore. I got a Bowmore 18, just so much left within the bottle, and I made a mistake for keeping it, and it oxidized. It changed a lot. It was really, in the end, it was a little bit soapy as well. So yeah, but I do love Bowmore because so many special editions, and they're not like crazy special editions from different bottlers, but always Bowmore. This is, for example, this was the celebration for our 1000th video
yes.
of our YouTube channel, and it was the black Bowmore 42 years, and very expensive bottle. I think
Yeah,
now they're kind of unpriceable.
absolutely. In the older days, for sure, compared to today, it was a cheap one. But today it's...
I think back in the days it was already 4-digit prices. And then I have this one. I grew up with this one. I don't know how it survived all the years. This is a Bowmore Legend, a very old one. Here it's more sharp. A very old one. It's actually a tin tube back in the days when they still did tin tubes. And there were, I think it was a series where you had the distillery and you have kind of legends in front of it, like a mermaid and this kind of, I don't know, knight and sea creature or something, and I don't know, Vikings, or I don't know. and you had the sea dragon. There was a Bowmore sea dragon, 30-year-old, and it was, I don't know, a couple of $100. I think nowadays it would be like, I don't know, $10,000.
something like this.
Yeah. So I do really like the special editions, and this was more the old special editions. What did we have recently? We had the very, very old one, 52.
52 Bowmore Arc. We have
Arc, yeah, that was the name.
Bowmore 1969,
Okay.
or some years ago
Yeah.
as well, Bowmore 1965.
And you had the one with the cars, the
Aston
Martin.
Martin, the Aston Martin range
Yeah.
we had in Germany. So, and also some Bowmores with 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, I mean,
So there's still some old stock that's available. and they still keep in the vaults #1, which is famous for old bottlings, some stock left for probably some special bottlings or old releases.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them in the very past and the more recent past and the recent past. They've always been special bottlings, and I guess that will be in the future as well. Why not? Okay,
For sure.
yeah. So let's try the 15-year-old.
You're keen on the 15-year-old again, huh?
Yes.
Try it.
Is it any different? Does it have any different recipe?
Yeah, at least it's matured 3 days longer compared to the 12-year-old.
3 days? I mean, years.
And it's got a higher proportion of first fill sherry oak casks,
Okay.
which were used. And it's also a finish in a higher proportion of first fill sherry casks. And you see a little bit also a difference in the color. It's a bit darker
Mm-hmm.
compared to the 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, it is different. It is, this time I have a lot of dried fruit, a lot of cacao, a lot of chocolate, dark chocolate, and oak. So a lot darker than the 12-year-old. Also a little bit silky, so bittersweet chocolate.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah, dried fruit, some raisins that I pick up.
But it has more of a, this is more of a leather armchair outside raining or snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is more of a gentleman's evening whiskey, if you want to have the stereotype.
Sitting in front of a fire.
Yeah, fireplace whiskey, definitely. Although, I have it a bit less smoky than the...
Yeah, it's less. Bit less.
bit less smoky than the 12-year-old. I mean, still smoky whiskey, but it's definitely a bit less smoky, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about how like bittersweet and how chocolatey and all that kind of stuff will be in the taste.
We will figure it out.
Yeah. Slange?
Slange.
More hefty, stronger, spicier, more cloves, raisins. It has more oak to it.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate. The first one with the first fill bourbons or the bourbon cask came through much more on the 12-year-old. This one is more of a sherry.
Yeah, you pick up more of the, from my side of view, dried fruits, dark chocolate, and a bit of orange peel.
Mm-hmm. Has a bit of that Christmas orangey touch to it.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, second sip is, now here comes the smoke a little bit. It does have a bit of smoke to it. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So how did you get into the whiskey industry? Like did you just find that job as a sales representative, or was there a hobby behind it?
I think it was at least also a little bit of hobby and the interest. And when I think back, it's almost 20 years ago that I started or stepped into the whiskey business. And it was very popular to give tastings, to learn and teach the people what is single malt, where it's coming from, what are the different aspects, the different distilleries, because every distillery has its own story.
Yeah.
And so I traveled through Germany and sometimes also Austria to tell the people, to bring it closer. And I mean, when you're sitting or when you're standing in front of groups of people, and you teach them something about Scotland, something about the distillery, and you try and taste the whiskey afterwards, it was always nice and always also a lot of fun with the people together.
Yeah, I think back in the days it was a bit, for Germany it was a bit special because we were just such a small niche.
Yes.
I mean, there were a few people that were really into it,
Yes.
and the others was like, Scotland, not with the bagpipes.
Yeah, absolutely. But when I
And the
remember,
guys with the skirts, now it's called a kilt.
yeah, it's called kilts, right? But when I remember when you're standing in front of people, like a master class or whatever, and you have 30, 35 people in front of you, and you ask the people, who have been to Scotland, and you see then one or two hands going up, and compared to today, when you're standing in front of the people, you have a group of 30, 35, you can ask who has not been to Scotland, and you will see one or two hands. So it changed.
Yeah, it changed a lot. I mean, tourism in Scotland is also quite hefty
It's a big
nowadays.
business.
It's a big business. I think it's like second or third place or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been to Scotland so many times, so I did my fair share of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always nice, and it's always nice to come back and the people, the country, the mentality. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Germany, we had at the beginning you only had the corn schnapps, which is like really
Yes.
a vodka, which is soulless, storyless, and then you had a few fruit schnapps and few like alpine things going on. They had a few stories, but Scotch has so much history and story behind it. It's just a whole different product, and people now in Germany love it. I think we are now pretty relevant market.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are a very, very relevant market for the Scotch whisky industry. Yes.
Yeah. So the third one is the 18, right?
Yes.
That's the one that is not available in the US. The other two are available on Whisky.com in the United States. And the 18 is now like, it's much more fancy. It has the other one are square boxes, just the regular boxes. This one is a rectangular box, and it's bigger and better and all that kind of stuff. And there is a 21-year-old in the range, right?
Yes. So that's the top, or it's the benchmark from this new range. That's the 21-year-old.
But I've done a little bit of a analysis. Okay, maybe the analysis is already 5 years old, but people say that, or in terms of rate the whiskies, best in the ranges between 18 and 21 years old. So after that, people are probably fed up with the price, and with 18 to 21 is kind of the sweet spot where the people like the whiskey the most, in terms of what we have from our customers.
Yeah, I can imagine it, and I can agree, because if you leave the whiskey for a very long time in the cask, you will have also the influence of the wood. And I think that's the top point. So between the 18 and 21, for example, I think you will have very good whiskies, and up to that, I mean, it's at least you're your decision, and you have to decide if you like it, how the taste is, and whatever. But you don't have to spend at least a lot of money for a good whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, I had a sample size of over 1,000 people and 1,000 votings on bottles. So overall, people tend to like the 18 to 21-year-olds both best. And I do agree. I do always love the 18 to 21s with most distilleries. They are kind of the sweet spot, yeah. I do enjoy the very, very, very old whiskies as well. I mean, I had the honor of trying the Ark. I think there's a video on the channel, and it was amazing. Also, I tried a bit of that. What was that old? What we shown for the Black Bowmore.
Black Bowmore, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing whiskies. Really amazing whiskies.
What I find a bit, I don't want to say disappointing, but I find it, a little bit disappointing is when you have such a nice style, because Bowmore definitely has a style. When you smell into a Bowmore, you realize it's a Bowmore. And when you have the Bowmore that above, I don't know, I'm not quite sure when I had a 30-year-old, but above 40, I'm sure about the above 40, they're not that smoky anymore. You just have that faint smoke anymore. With this one, you just put your nose in the glass and that's immediately a Bowmore. You have a good amount of smoke. You have, this one is, what's inside there? What do we have as casks?
So we have, as the whiskies before, it's a mixture between bourbon and from a sherry cask matured whiskey, but this one is then matured in former PX casks, so Pedro Ximenez.
Oh, okay, PX
so
cask.
Yeah, it's a finish in PX casks.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you do smell that in here. It has that sherry cask, but also a little bit of a sweet touch to it.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit, even in the nose, a little bit drier, complex.
Complex, definitely complex. Where I also do have a bit of a orange touch to it. This one has a good amount of what do you call it? Christmas touch to it.
Christmas cake.
Yeah, Christmas cake. Also oranges with cloves in it. I do have to do that. I really have to write that down to do that, because I forgot that the last years, and you have to do it because it's the scent of Christmas.
Absolutely. Very nice in the nose.
Yeah.
Very balanced.
Yeah. When I had the first time, this one was the first that was really balanced. But this time the others were balanced as well, especially the 12, strangely enough. Oh, I'm really getting excited.
Slanjar.
The oranges. Now I do have a lot of oranges, a lot of spiciness, these cloves.
Absolutely.
Christmas flavors. There's everything going on in that whiskey now. Smokiness going on, oak is going on, chocolate's going on, spiciness. There's really everything going on in this whiskey. Yeah.
A very nice one.
Oh.
Especially for the season of the year.
Yeah, this is really a whiskey when you can have a nice what do you call it, bonfire, or a nice chimney fire. That's the one I wanted to say. It has a little bit of a chimney fire flavor. And would you recommend that to beginners? Is that too hefty for beginners or not? If you'd have a master class or...
Why not? So probably you can start with the Bowmore from the core range, but then you can take them on a journey with the sherry range. So
I always am afraid of showing beginners the smoky side of whiskey.
I think you don't have to be afraid, because when you're doing tastings and you have different types of whiskey and different areas of Scotland that you have in there, I was always surprised that you have beginners in there that afterwards they, my favorite was Islay whiskey, for example.
Yeah.
So even they didn't expect it, because what they pick up from the nose or with the nose or from the nose is different what they pick up afterwards when they try it and taste it. So and that's interesting. So why not? I mean, let's try and taste. So
it's just that I always imagine myself not knowing whiskey and having such a smoky stuff in my mouth. It just for me it's just maybe we try some, I don't know, lowland or some Austrian first or something like that, and work ourselves up towards the smoky stuff. But I've had the same experience that people come up to you, and even people that you don't expect, where you think like, oh, this is a woman that she likes sweet stuff. Nope, she likes the smoky Bowmore or Lafroig or something like that. And it's always that strange. And yeah, people are not what you just see from the outside.
absolutely. And I think that's a good example when you have different whiskies, different people, different places. You will always have sometimes a little bit of surprise what's happening or what's coming up or what they prefer. So even depending on the time of the season, the area where you are. So, but yeah, why not? I think it's also a good decision when you introduce it to a beginner, when you explain it.
Yeah, the thing is, maybe I should try that. If next time I have beginners in front of me, just start off the smoky one, because I've never started with the smoky one. I mean, you shouldn't do that. Every time you have a range of whiskeys, you start from mild to
absolutely
hefty, and the smoky one always comes last.
Yeah, otherwise your palate.
But maybe you just try 3 Bowmores with the next beginner, and you scare them off, or they really love the whiskey then.
But when you start with the Bowmore, you have to continue with even more peated or smoked whiskey. So
there's almost then Bowmore Lafroig.
Probably, yeah. Something from Islay, from the south of Islay, which is more peaty, more heavy from the taste.
Yeah. Have you ever done a tasting in America?
No.
No, because I would really like to know how Americans see that, because I mean Americans have that unique kind of touch, because they have their own stuff. From our point of view, we do have whiskey now in Germany, but we don't have any tradition with whiskey. Our tradition is like 10 years old, and if you look to America, their tradition is, I don't know, also 200 years old or something like that. And then they have the really sweet stuff over there, and the Scotch are the smoky ones. No, they're not just the smoky ones.
But to be honest, we have the long history and tradition with the distilling spirits, but Obstbrand.
Oh, we do. We do have that.
Obstbrand?
The fruit schnapps.
Fruit schnapps, yes.
Yeah.
So
also, if you look at the master distillers, I'm not quite sure if it's still that way, but if you look at the master distillers like 20 or 30 years ago, it's always at every distillery except the Beam distillery, they're all called Beam. And it's Jakob Boom. So right. Kind of all the American whiskey is all German. Yeah. They do have a bit of Scottish background, they do have a bit of Irish background, a lot of Irish background.
Yeah, even some of the breweries as well. So
yeah, but a lot of German influence as well. Most of them come from one family.
I like the 18-year-old.
Mm. So you want to do a rating, or is it like picking a favorite child?
Yeah, why not? Up to you. I mean, also, I think
The
our
thing-
guests have to do a rating afterwards.
Yes, yeah, they do also going to do a weight rating. Not quite sure how many people we do have in there. If you do know the whiskey, then please rate as well. You don't have to have it in front of you. If you have tried one of these whiskeys before, then do rate. And but this time it's really hefty because they are close together. I really don't have a clear favorite. Actually, it's strange, but I have the same rating as I had before.
Yeah.
I think so, if I'm remembering correctly. 132.
132.
I'm really a fan of the 12-year-old sherry. It's really, really good. I really do like the 12-year-old bottle, but the others are not close behind.
So I think I would go the same way as before.
Mm-hmm. Well, how did you go?
So 1, 2, 3.
So it's 2, 3, 1. Yeah. Okay. So
okay.
was it the 15, the 18, and the 12?
Yes.
Okay. Nice. We do have 15. No. So yeah, there are not that many people, but they all like the 12-year-old.
It's a good whiskey, to be honest. So you wouldn't make a mistake if you buy it and enjoy it.
Yeah, they are really close together. They're really close together. But what I did like was the balance within the first one. Maybe that's not the goal of that of the sherry edition, so of the bourbon and the sherry. That was really a nice balance. If you'd like to have a really strong sherry, they're all strong sherry, but the 15 and especially the 18 are really, really, really sherry.
Yes.
I think the 18 doesn't have any bourbon in it, right?
Yeah, they started a bit with bourbon, but
they did?
afterwards the sherry influence of the Pedro Ximénez is quite huge. So that's it's like a layer on the former casks.
We do had more to just tell you. In the German tasting, we did have more people voting, and what did they have? I think they had 40 something with the 18-year-old, then 36 or something, or nearly 40 with the 15, and then the other one was 18, the 12-year-old. And yeah, people really do love the 18 and the 15.
So my experiences as well, when we launched last year the new range, the sherry cask range, the feedback was that the 15-year-old was the number one for them. And probably the 12-year-old was the second one. And maybe, but also because of the price, then we had the 18-year-old.
Yeah, they are hefty in price.
Absolutely.
But I do like them. They are excellent products. And they are hefty on the sherry side, but they are very, very complex. And that's what I do love about the whiskies. In general, whiskies are complex. And if you have like fruit schnapps, then you have like, okay, it's pear, okay, it's s'mores, okay. But then it's the whole thing is it's pears. And with the whiskey, you have so many little nuances. Okay, you do have a lot of smoke in it. You do have a lot of oak in it. Mostly it's smoke and oak dominating. But if you concentrate a little on, you have so much variety in the whiskey. And that's why I really love whiskey, and I'm sticking with whiskey 100%.
Absolutely, and you can spend a whole evening with a glass of whiskey in your hand.
Yeah.
And to find out the flavors and everything else, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think we're pretty much done. So Jens, do you have something else?
My pockets? Actually, no, to be honest, not today. So maybe the next time.
Yeah. Thank you very much for showing us through the whole range of
it was a pleasure.
Bowmore. And for the next live tasting, we do have the St. Nicholas, or Was it for the? No, I'm not quite sure. On the 5th of December, we do have the Tulpengarden live tasting, and it will be 8 o'clock Central European Standard Time. And yeah, horse tasting will be on the, was it second day of Christmas, 26th. So stay tuned for that. And have a look at Whisky.com/live. You will find everything there. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.